back to Flow with Chrissy. Today I wanted to talk about headstands. I did get an ask from one of my members about, just kind of breaking it down. But before we do that, I really want to talk about some of the constraints and the benefits to the program, to the pose itself. So basically for any of my followers who might have neck injuries or may have high blood pressure, you might want to stay away from doing anything where your head are above your feet or your head is below your heart, because it just may kind of agitate it a little bit more and not good. Okay, we want to keep you happy and healthy, and we don't want to irritate things more. So, but for some of the benefits of this pose, excuse me, I can't talk today. Is, it helps relieve depression, it helps circulation in the body, it helps tone our, not only our physical body, but also the digestive organs within yourselves. It helps with infertility, and the list goes on and on and on. So again, if your body's ready for it and you can handle it, we're gonna kind of walk through some of these modifications and advancements to get into it, okay? So let's start from there. Now, anytime I do these types of tutorials, that I'm just showing kind of one pose and it's not kind of a sequence, it's super important for you not to just kind of dive right into it. Warm your body up, maybe do some of your Surya Namaskars, which I'll do a video on that here soon too. Some down dogs, some stretching, hamstring stretch and stuff like that, okay? So be sure to warm your body up before doing this. Now, I have two blocks here. That blocks can be an amazing help for you. I don't want you guys ever to think that props are a hindrance and it makes you look weak, because that's super untrue, right? I use blocks all the time in a lot of my classes that I take in my practice. But the blocks are a really cool way to start off with, because it kind of helps alleviate some of that pressure off the shoulders. It makes you kind of go into the correct form, and it kind of gives a little bit of pressure off of the head as well, okay? So when you want to try this variation with the blocks, you're going to take the blocks on the highest level and you're going to take them about shoulder distance, okay? And when we do that, then you're going to scooch back. You're going to take your fingertips to the backs of the blocks, okay? So where they're basically touching. And if you recall in my chaturanga and plank tutorial, we talked a lot about squeezing the elbows in. We talked a lot about a 90-degree angle. This is exactly where we want to go with these as well. So I'm going to take my fingertips behind the block. I'm going to shift forward to lower my shoulder heads onto the blocks, okay? Then I'm going to drop my crown of head down. I'm going to tuck my toes, still squeezing the elbows into the side bodies. And I'm gonna slowly start to walk my feet up. Now, for my friends who have tight hamstrings, you might need to keep a gentle bend into the knees. Keep the weight focusing into the fingertip pads instead of the wrists themselves, okay? So staying here, my head is light onto the floor. I physically can lift my head off the floor if I wanted to, okay? Squeezing the elbow in. This is a great pose that if you can stay here for maybe 3, 5, 8 breaths, and then walk your feet back out, and then just come to a kneeling position, either in child's pose or into this kneeling position, and just kind of sit with how your body feels with that, okay? So that's one variation with the blocks, and that's a tripod prep. The other variation, I'm gonna take the blocks out of the way, is a supported headstand. So if you're afraid of putting a lot of pressure on the neck and the head, then the supported headstand might be your friend as well. So you want to basically take your hands, I like to put them kind of in palm against palm and my elbows out wide. So I'm basically kind of looking like this, okay? Once I place that onto the earth, I then take my crown of the head and I kind of rest it onto the mat, but to where the back of the head is kind of resting a little bit more into my palms, like they're cupping into my palms a little bit, okay? Same thing, I'm gonna root down through my forearms, I'm gonna tuck my toes, I'm gonna walk my feet in, okay? You can either stay here for a few breaths. Sometimes I like to call out if you'd like to. You can maybe try to lift a leg and just kind of see how that feels. But try not to dump into the shoulders too much and into the neck. You want to keep the arms active and strong, okay? Same thing, slowly, mindfully come out of it. Come up to your seat, float the eyes closed, take a few breaths. Kind of just sit with how your body feels. You can always do either one of those variations also at the wall. I'm not a huge fan of my students always going to the wall, but initially at first it kind of helps with a little bit of security, but don't get too attached to it, okay? Get yourself away from the wall, but it's a nice place to kind of start, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, my other variation is straight up tripod headstand, okay? With or without those blocks. Spread the fingertips wide. My same thing is gonna happen. I'm gonna squeeze my elbows in. I'm gonna chaturanga my arms like I was doing before. I'm gonna then drop the crown of my head, okay? So you can see my shoulders are still not going down past my elbows. They're staying in alignment, but I don't have the blocks there to kind of help with that because my body is kind of in tune to do that. So then tuck the crown of the head, tuck the toes, walk your feet in. Keep squeezing the elbows in. My weight is firmly into my palms. I can then, number one, maybe take one knee to the back of the tricep, maybe take the other knee to the back of the tricep. Now, if you can stay here, maybe you can start to lift up from the pelvic floor, trying to draw your knees all the way up, keeping the heels tucked towards the glutes, pressing the hip bone slightly forward. Maybe you can take your legs straight on up. I'm really reaching through the toes. I'm tucking my tailbone to where it's reaching up towards the sky. So I'm kind of alleviating some of that weight out of the sacrum. I'm lifting up. So instead of a downward energy, if you think so much pressure on the crown of your head, think upward energy through those toes, okay? Now, slowly, mindfully come back down and sit with your piece. There's a lot of energy that comes through those headstands, okay? So that's kind of going through a tripod headstand, working your way up, and then mindfully and controllably coming back down. Another way, you can pike up. So, same thing, coming right on into it, squeezing my elbows in, walking my feet in, okay? I can either lift one or both legs. Today, I'm just gonna show you both legs. So using that pelvic floor lift, I'm lifting all the way up, I'm squeezing in my elbows in, I'm drawing everything in towards the midline, and then straight on up towards the sky. Belly is engaged, I'm breathing, I'm not freaking out, because when you can think more in your body and feel what your body's feeling, and you are less in your mind, slowly pike back down, and then come back down. Okay, and again, gets up. Breath moving and kicking, my heart rate is up, I feel amazing, okay? But a lot of times in our inversions, one thing that stops everybody from really enjoying an inversion is fear, okay? So recognizing if you think, oh my God, I'm going up into a headstand, my head's gonna be above my feet, or my feet's gonna be above my head, I'm freaking out, oh my God, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna break my neck. Well, maybe you should scale back and try some of those beginner modifications, because you wanna lose that fear. You're okay, you're okay. You wanna lose that fear, but you may have to build the body strength to get up to that as well, okay? So I hope you enjoyed. Oh, also one last thing. After you do any of your inversions, and again, you come back to just your kneeling position, two other poses that are amazing after an inversion too, if you'd like to, child's pose and downward facing dog. Kind of both of those will help also with calming the body back down after that amazing rush of energy. So I hope you enjoyed today. As always, don't hesitate to send me any questions, comment on this video. That way I can be sure to answer any questions that you have and yeah, get out there and play with some headstands. Again, only if you're allowed to. All right, one love, namaste. Thanks guys.